Back out here with the BC625a wood chipper, brush chipper. This one was one of my personal babies, and got some good use out of it so far, as you can see by the muck and sticks. We rebuilt this one on the channel, I don't know, well, not rebuilt, but we went through it, put new knives and things like that, checked it all out. Maybe a year or two, probably 2 years ago, I suppose. Anyway, just went to start it up, and I smell some gas and I see some dripping in there. So looks like we need a new fuel line. From what I can tell right now, this is the fuel pump, this is the fuel coming up, this is the pump, and this is the pressure line. And it looks like that pressure line is absolutely got a hole in it, or a mouse chew, or whatever, and it's all underneath that plate. So no big deal. Looks like it comes apart readily, easily. Let's do that. So first thing I'm going to do is open it up just to get the chipper box a little more out of the way, and I can stand here and work on this. And I'm going to try to get you the best shots I got. I do not have a tripod out where I'm working today, and there's none available in miles. So that's the rough life. We'll just have to do the best we can. Now, upon closer inspection, it does look like if I had to, I could sneak that clamp out of there. I don't think that's going to be the easiest way. I think the easiest way is just going to be to take this air filter off, get it out, see what I'm looking at, and then I can make sure I get a good push on that line, get it properly put back on, so we don't have any leaks. It's leaking right on top of the engine, and probably, well, except for the muffler, probably the worst place it could. So we want to make sure we get a good job, and if I'm barely fitting my finger in there where that clamp is, things probably won't go well trying to get that line on or off. And for those that didn't see the first video, of course, this is its own video. This engine I'm working on today, Kohler Command Pro 25. This one's the commercial model, I suppose, because it has the bigger air filter. That's why it's the Pro 25. I imagine most Kohlers are going to be the same, as far as if you were replacing the same fuel line, it'd probably be pretty much the same thing. Alright, got you set up. I'm going to take this off the metal piece instead of the plastic piece. You probably could fold it out of the way, but will it dry crack? Will it have an issue? I'm not playing with plastic. It's been out here. I'd keep a tarp on it, but I mean, it's probably dry sun cracked from the previous owner. This machine is nothing new. Alright. Now I'm going to get these guys. I think they're 8mm. The only reason I'm choosing this much disassembly is because it looks easy to get at. Most of these bolts are wide open. For me, the long bolts go on the back side. Oh no, they're all the same. Why did they seem longer? Don't know. Let's see if this gets me. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. That was way easier than even I knew it was going to be. Bring you in, get you shot. So this line is the one that's bad, and it is hard as a carp, and it was just leaking everywhere. Normally for a video I would turn it back on, but it is so bad leaking. I'm just afraid something's going to go bad. You can, if you look, you can see the wet marks that from the fuel spray. So let's just go with that. I'm not going to start a fire out here for no reason, just to show you something that is obvious. All we're doing is replacing a fuel line. And I just noticed this clamp, the one I could see from the top, that's just the vent line. So I did have to take this off. So fully justified, folks. For all the naysayers, it was way deeper than it looked like it was. and you'd have never got pliers way down there to get those, even if you tried, which I did not. I would have been taking off the wrong hose. Oh yeah, this hose, I don't know if you can see that, how dry this is, but oh, there's the hole. I just saw it squirt out. Yeah, somewhere right there. So, good thing I smelled it, otherwise we might have had a major malfunction here. I'll take that hose off, bring you back. So I got that hose, it was leaking somewhere around here. You can't really even see it. That's something I should have done when I bought the machine. I did put new fuel line from the tank, put a shut-off filter up to here, but why didn't I do the pressure side? Because I was lazy, and that last foot almost bit me. And they've got this bent so it stays out of the way of the these, I'll show you in a minute, the throttle and choke cable there. They've got this thing clocked out of the way. I'll take a good shot for you in a minute. Let me get this clamp up on there. So on mine, get you the top view here. They've got a snake in here and it turns quick, and they've got this one facing down like that, so this can turn before it hits this, so you don't have them going across and possibly getting caught popping a hole or hanging up your throttle. And I even turned it just a little bit. I had twisted it a little bit and it was kind of up in the air here, so I turned it. I noticed it was kind of, you always look for marks, witness marks. That's where the original like to hang out. And maybe when we put the cover on, that's where it has to go. So we're clearing, you know, all our bars where this is, clearing here, everything's clearing, no problems. So I was just test fitting the air filter box back on there, and I can see that bracket looks like it wants to contact that. I'm going to wrap this with some extra electrical tape there. I don't think that would ever cut through, because it should all be shaking together, as all this is part of the motor, but if it doesn't, possibly that could be a wear spot. So I'm just going to take and make some little, if I had some wire loom, that would probably be better, but I'm going to use what I have on hand. Alright, I wrapped it with some tape. Let's get this thing put back together. Fairly simple job. They left it right out in the open for us, minus 4 bolts and a hose clamp. Not bad. So I'll show you what I did there. I just kind of doubled up the tape real heavy on there, just in case it would ever rub out. Probably a little longer piece would have been in order, but whatever. Use what you got. Okay, let's test that to make sure that doesn't leak. Good. We're in good shape. I just wanted to make sure that we got the right hose, that was the only hose leaking. And I think it's the only hose it has, really, except for that other one. But you always want to double check. And then once I got to running this thing, I noticed two problems. First problem, it has the auto feed, where does it say? Auto feed 2 or whatever it said on it. Well, it's got this auto feed system anyway. Can't remember where that sticker was. I don't see it at the moment. Or did I just get that out of the manual? Anyway, this thing, this solenoid, which controls the feed, all that hydraulic there is for the feed. And it never shuts off. When the motor gets down on RPM, it should shut off, stop feeding, and just let the drum chip what's there. But it doesn't. It hasn't been a problem because I did throw a new set of blades on it, so even when I get down in the revs, it is not a problem. But if you were to ever stall it while loaded, I don't know how you'd ever get the chips out of that drum and ever get it to roll again, because they're going to be all jammed in there. The feeder's going to be jammed. So I want to see. Obviously, it's just a simple solenoid, and then this is fast or slow. I always just have left that at one speed, just maxed out, because, whatever. If you're doing small stuff, it just goes that much faster. But basically all it is, you've got a system, a brain box there. It's gathering information from wherever. I'm assuming, I don't know if that would be hour meter or whatever. It's somehow figuring out the revs. Oh, here, probably this. It's somehow figuring out the revs of the engine. So I don't know if I got a bad brain box or if the solenoid is just stuck open. So I'm going to look for voltage here. I would assume it would close upon no voltage. That would mean not work. Usually things fail in the fail-safe position. Safe means off. So I'm going to say that that's probably broken. Or it's probably not sending power, or is it sending power all the time? Anyway, I need to diagnose that. Is it the control box? Is it the, I would assume we see a change of voltage. When it revs up fine, it should either give voltage or take voltage away. And right now it's just running all the time, which is fine, but I wouldn't mind fixing it if it is fixable. So I'm going to try to just take a reading there. I've always been kind of curious. I put this away last fall and never have gotten back to it till today. So I just want to see if there is voltage there, and if so, what am I looking at there? Alright, so here's my setup. I want to test. I got the wires pulled off of the solenoid there. Got those down here. Now it's going to be DC power of some kind, so I got this meter set to voltage DC. And I'll try to get you in this place where we can get a good knot reflection on there once I get it rolling here. And I'm going to start it up, and I'm going to see if when I rev it up, if I get any change of state on voltage there. If I get any voltage, or voltage all the time, or whatever. Let me just turn the key on. Let me get you. Negative 9 volts already. So that tells me it's engaged. Or is that millivolts? No, that's millivolts, folks. That's millivolts. Okay. So we're not going to worry about that. We're going to, when I get it started, I'll bring you back. Alright, so basically negative 2 volts, and when I rev it up it goes to negative 3, so it is not powering this. So that tells me, and it's not changing state of any kind, so that tells me two things. This thing is stuck on, and also that system is not working as far as computer controlling anything, which is interesting. So I'm pretty sure it's using, you know, a sensor. There's a sensor in there. I don't know if that's oil sentry or not. I see some wires here. I'm going to run it with the chipper disc engaged just to see if it changes anything. I don't believe it will. Let's take a look. So basically it was 2 volts and 3 volts or 3.3, whatever, something like that. Changed the voltage a little bit as it revved, but you know, I would think it would be, you know, completely off during idle, and then 12 volts when needed for engaging. The fact that it runs at all tells me, like I say, this must be stuck on right now, because it does run, but never shuts off, which is not a problem for me, but I think I'd like to fix it if I can. And earlier in the video I was looking for this sticker, Auto Feed 2. It's on the back door there. That's the system that is controlling this. Okay, last thing I want to do on this machine is, once I started running it at home, I didn't have enough stuff. Some of you may know, anyway, I didn't have enough stuff to run it for a long time when I first was fixing it and going over it when I bought it. And now you can see there's a bunch of residue and oily stuff, and here's what I'm getting. Use approved hydraulic fluid only. Well, I don't know if they did or not, but if you can see that foam, that tank is absolutely full of it, just from running it a short time testing it for this video. It goes around and around and around, and foams up so bad that it all, you know, it gets all thinned out, and I don't know, can't understand. It's a very simple system. It just runs one hydraulic motor for the feeder. That's all it does, and it's just controlled by pushing on this thing forward, back. All that does is forward, back. I mean, it couldn't be simpler. But the best thing I could believe that would make foam is if I think this is the suction line going into the pump, if I'm looking at this right, the side without the filter, would that be it? Either way, that's the easiest one to get at. It's right under there. Not too bad to get at. And I'm going to take what I think, I'm guessing, 2 problems. One, contaminated hydraulic fluid, water in the hydraulic fluid, or something else, or wrong hydraulic fluid, don't know. When you buy stuff used, you just don't know. Or is the little drinking straw that picks up the fluid, I don't know if you call it a foot valve on this, or if that's more of a well term, but anyway, if that's got a hole in it and we're sucking air, which sounds possible. So before I go and change what's probably a couple $100 worth of hydraulic fluid, I'm going to inspect that hose and whatever tank fitting that has down there, which would be this one. And I'm going to try to pull it up and out of there and see if I can see anything wrong there. If it would be sucking air there, before I go and drain out all that fluid, which might be just fine. We're going to do what's the easy thing to do for today. And then if necessary, I can change the fluid. That's not a big deal. But I don't have any today, and I do have wrenches. So let's get to work. I admit to being a jack of all trades, but I have never been shown a proper diagnosis on a hydraulic system, so never really had much of stuff that was built with hydraulics. I know a lot of you folks, that's pretty much all you do, and you probably get pretty good at it over time, I imagine. That tank is plastic. I'm noticing that much already. Not as much access here as the camera probably shows. I got you in a nice sneaky little spot there. Man. Am I easier? I really want to take that one off. Alright, I found out two things. One, I got it loose, by the way. It turns, so I was able to turn it like this and get on it better, and it popped right off. Nice. Just stick that one over there for a minute. Let's not get a bunch of stuff in our hydraulic fluid. Reverse thread. What's that going to get me if this comes all the way up? Nothing. That just holds it in. How am I going to get that inner part out? Interesting. I think it feels like it's got something going down to the bottom, which would mean I have the intake side instead of the return. How do you get that tank out of there? How do you get that pickup tube out of there? Somebody already knows. Somebody down in the comments that's had theirs out or knows about these things is laughing at me at this very moment. I could see from if I took the tank out completely. Oops, got you caught there. Under here there's like a belly pan, and the belly pan's all bolted on. You have to take all those bolts out, and then that pan would come down. That's how the whole tank comes out. Let's not go there unless we have to. Big adjustable wrench, other fitting. I'm going to get it lined up actually a little different here. It almost seems like this comes out from the inside. But how could that be? Your hand can't fit through the fill hole to put it in there, so maybe it comes out the top here. Or not. What? Does that piece unthread? What am I not seeing here? How would you ever be able to get that nut off if this part didn't unthread separately? Oh, now I got those threads good and buggered up, don't I? What? How? Ah, it's got flats on it. You hold that. Jeez. I should have guessed there was a way. Yeah, it's got flats on it. That top part is going to unscrew out of this. I don't know what size wrench is going to fit in there. That one kind of fits the best. Really got to have something with flats on it. This one's too fat, too tall. Alright, I got a wrench that'll fit. Standard wrench, 1 1/8 gets on that. And then let's see if this thing is a reverse thread or what are we talking here. This one seems to be a standard thread. There we go. There's our drinking straw. Do you have any holes in you? Okay. Now I'm probably going to have to take that tank nut loose that I've destroyed. Because it can't come out. It's hitting there. Let's see if we loosen this. Will it come out or are we still kind of not gonna make it? Whew, I'm being approached by a kitty cat. Hello, kitty cat. Saw something out of the corner of my eye. What are you doing? Where'd you come from? Oh, just ignore me. Hi. Oh, just make yourself at home, friend. Okay, back to work. Enough of these distractions. Get that top thing again. Just can't get both wrenches on here at the same time too easily. Yikes. I'm just trying to get this loose enough, maybe it'll tilt enough. Look at this cat. Where did you come from? You got no collar. That's a good cat. If you're into such things. Wow, this is a lot of fumbling around. If you think you're tired of it, imagine me. I'm gonna get this loose, I'll bring it back. Okay, so that thing, I've got only so much clearance in between the top and the bottom. Even if I get that nut way loose, I don't think I'm really gonna get it out of there. I kind of botched up the nut a little bit because it was brass. I'm gonna go with that belly pan down here. It's a lot of bolts, but they go quick because I got the electric tool here. Alright folks, got you the shot, got the plate down, and what's weird is one of the bolts hung up over there, and it fell here just fine, which is perfect. I think I have enough angle now, maybe I can get it from the top. Will it? Does it? Oh yeah. There's our drinking straw. Let's see if it's got any holes that we can find. Okay, let's look at this together. I'm seeing what looks to be almost brand new metal. Plenty solid, no pitting. This here doesn't look to have ever moved. Looks to be swaged in there. Don't think that's the problem. I think we just got some contaminated hydraulic fluid. So I'm just starting to put some stuff back together. I got the tank nut threaded tight against the tank. I got this one in, and then I noticed that this fitting is the only straight thread fitting I have, and it looks like it once had sealant on it. Could that be sucking air? I don't think it would suck enough to make foam, but I'm going to put some tape on that and then just try it for a while once I get it put all back together. And that's a Hail Mary. The last thing I could think that could suck air was something that's straight threaded instead of you know, the proper hydraulic stuff, unless this bottoms out all the way at the bottom, but I don't think so. So I'm gonna try taping that up. I don't have any proper thread compound like you probably should have, but let's just try that, and then I'm going to put this whole thing back together. Try it out. Okay, let's see what we got. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we have some frothy goo. So, being that I can't find any way it's sucking air, I'm going to assume that it is bad hydraulic fluid, contaminated, filled with water, wrong stuff, motor oil, God knows what they put in there. But I've never seen something foam that much and stay foamed for that long. You could let this thing sit for an hour and it still won't go down. So I'm going with some new fluid. Let's call that the cure. Back out here with the BC625a chipper. Did some research last night and some more thinking on what's going on with this machine. I did go with the we're going to do a fluid change for the hydraulic fluid. Pretty sure that's what it is. And I was thinking about how this system works with the feed, auto feed 2. And apparently, by looking it up on the internet, inside this engine somewhere, some of these wires somewhere are tachometer wires that go to that computer. I don't know if that's them, or more likely, I don't know if that's charging. Anyway, somewhere inside there, they say it's a pain in the ass to get to, and apparently there's a tachometer on the engine. I thought it was maybe up in here where those wires go. That must just be for the hours meter or something. Not really sure. Doesn't really matter because I'm not going to be changing that. That unit, I don't know if it was available. I didn't check with Vermeer, but there was no place online that I could find it. But basically, the more I thought about it, all it does, it's basically just a tachometer. When your engine RPMs are too low, it turns voltage on to this. So this would be no voltage in a normal situation. It would turn voltage on to energize that coil and make it dump and go around the controls. So that makes a little more sense now that I thought about that and looked up some other information. So somebody does make an aftermarket kit you can put on. At the time of this filming, I think it's like $800. not sure if I'm going to go with that or not, but anyway, to finish this video, I'm just going to change the fluid and give it a tryout. So basically that means me putting down all those screws under the belly pan, getting that all pieced back together, pulling the drain plug down there, and letting all that fluid out, and changing the filter, putting a new fluid and filter back in. I got all the brand new fluid in there, new filter, ran it for about 15-20 minutes. And it's still bubbling, actively bubbling, so it seems to be actively getting aerated somehow. I'm going to have to look into why that could be. So I want to do a little experimenting. I've got a jumper pack here, and I want to try that solenoid. I'm going to run it and see if when I give power to this, if that whole system is working, that it does stop. We should see this wheel stop when I give power to that, even when it's engaged. This is the engaged thing. That's forward, that's reverse. I'm using this handle up here. So let's see if when I give power to that, if it goes in a bypass mode. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. I just want to see if that part of it works, and then that'll help me see where I'm going to go with this in the future. So let me get it running and I'll bring you back. Just got the engine at idle there. So this should make it, no, that way. That's forward. Okay. So when I give power, I'm going to do this so you can see it. Jumper pack is charged, so I don't know why it wouldn't stop all the way. I'm guessing this solenoid is probably gummed up from sitting for years without being ever shut off. Okay, so actually I figured out what that does. It puts it into crawl mode. It goes from full speed to mostly bypass, but not full stop. That would make sense, to keep the wood moving a little bit, to not, you know, stop the wood, but just to way slow it down. So that makes sense that that does that. I tried it several times and it just seemed very consistent, so it tells me that it's probably supposed to be like that, and that's how I feel. Pretty sure that's true. Okay, and I just saw a drip come out of this thing too, which is not good, but just a little. So where I'm leaving this one is I got all new hydraulic fluid in there. New filter, never a bad thing. Even though that was kind of a guess, it was an educated guess based on, you know, if you have a foaming fluid and it's not supposed to foam, you change the fluid and you start there. It's a maintenance item, so it's not money wasted. Anyway, the experiment I was doing here, basically, so the way that does confirm it works how I thought. Upon loss of engine RPM, something in that box, that control box, gives voltage to this, puts it into a crawl mode, where we saw it crawling. I thought it was supposed to stop all the way. No, it's supposed to still crawl. That's just the way it must work, because it's very consistent how it works. I tried it many times, and that's how that system works. Pretty simple. It's almost like you could probably make something yourself based on a tachometer. There is a guy that has something online. Can't remember if it was autofeed2.com or autofeed.com or something like that. Looks like he makes a brand new machine that fits just about any chipper that's on the market. Just watches for a signal and you know, controls the solenoid the same way mine does. If it's mini models, it says. I might go with that, might not. But anyway, that's where I'm going to leave the auto feed system.